of cultivating cash crops, we use sometimes the foregone yields. But we all know in the European Union that the agriculture is very heavily subsidized. So then there's a risk that you overestimate the cost. Because if it was a totally perfect market, the price might have been less. The same goes with the labor market. And labor is a cost. I mean, sometimes politically it's always good when we say, well, this will create new working opportunities. But labor is a resource. It has alternative uses. So it should be counted as a cost. That's socioeconomic cost. And you don't want to mix them up with state financial cost. I mean, some state costs, such as a subsidy, it's not a socioeconomic cost, but only a reallocation of resources. If I give you 10 euros, the 10 euros still exists. It's just gone from my hands to your hands. So that's a transfer. It's a state financial cost because it's cost the state, but it's not requiring resources apart from the actual administration. And that labor, the labor needed to administrate the subsidy, that is a socioeconomic cost as well as a state financial cost. And this is something that's often mixed up, and also within agencies. And in some cases where I asked an agency, okay, you suggest this and it implies that you have to work with this, what will it cost you? And they say, it has no cost, it will be covered by the existing budget. And I said, well, that's not true. Of course it has a cost, because you have to take resources from somewhere else to do this work. And the same goes for business or private cost, household cost. A tax that has to be paid by the company household is only transfer, and that's not a socioeconomic cost. Investment cost to a bank, however, is a private cost as well as a socioeconomic cost. So keep this apart. Don't mix them up. And if you start counting like, okay, we have an abatement cost of this technology that is 100 million. Part of that is paid by the government in terms of a subsidy. Then you add that onto that. Then you're double counting it. So separate these. When you look at the different measures, you need to have a lot of information. And this is usually where we as economists have to work close together. Because if we don't know the area or the measures, we need to have the input. So we need to know each measure's socioeconomic cost. We like constructing something. Running cost, there's an energy it takes, or labor throughout the years, management. We need to know the effect on the target. Like how many kilo of nitrogen are reduced by this. So we can express the cost in terms of reduction. Going back to that picture, the diagram with cost effectiveness. Otherwise, if we don't know what it reduces, we don't know whether it's cost effective or not. It might be very cheap, but it has no effect. Well, then it's not cost effective. Or it might be very expensive, but have a big effect. It might have a lower, more cost effect. We need to know the capacity, for instance. Okay, how many of the industrial plants can install this technology? Or how big proportion of the land can be converted to national parks or wetlands or whatever. We also need to know about the positive or negative objectives of the measures, so we can get a balance. Because there might be two measures that seems very close to each other, and the decision maker doesn't know, well, should I choose this or this one? And maybe just look at the numbers, ignoring the synergy effects. You might make the wrong choice because one had positive synergy effects, another one negative. We have to know or have some idea regarding the economic, biological, and technical uncertainty. Are there big uncertainty in the investment cost of this technology? Or are we very certain? It might be a new technology, we don't know how much it will cost. Or it might be well-established technology, so that uncertainty is small. Is there biological uncertainties? How big effect will this wetland have on the nitrogen load? That might be very uncertain. Or technical, what is the technical capacity? Can it really reduce 90% of the emissions? Or is it actually just 80? It's like when you buy a car and they say, this is how many mileage you get per liter of gasoline. I mean, it's always overestimated. So, you know when you buy that there's an uncertainty that they say, well, you can drive on 0.5 liter so for 10 kilometers. Never true.
It's true, actually.
It is true.
I mean, if you drive it in a laboratory.
Yeah, but in reality, I don't drive in a laboratory. And this is just to show that, I mean, actually the total cost of reaching a target, and if you do it in a cost-effective way, is the area underneath the marginal cost curve. That is just summing up all the cost of all the different measures. Okay. Any questions so far? Now we might get really technical. And just raise your hand if you, I don't want to go too deep into this. I can skip some slides. But it is an important part when you deal with environmental benefits that might take decades or centuries to really realize, like climate. So we have to discount future costs as well as benefits, because people tend to prefer cost tomorrow over cost today, and benefits today over benefits tomorrow. Especially kids. They have very high discount rate. They want an ice cream, and they say, no, you can't have one. But you know what? If you wait a week, I'll give you 2. Will they buy that? No. I mean, what kind of discount rate is that? Really, really high. If someone asked me if, oh, I can give you 100 crowns a day or 200 crowns a week from now, I would wait a week for 200 crowns. So the individual discount rate is very individual. But it is true that we rather take the cost later on and the benefits today. I think it would help environmental work if all the benefits are right today and the cost 100 years from now. But that's not the case. So you want to obtain a present value of future costs and benefits, and that you do by discounting. And the further away the cost burden, for example, is taking place, the less the present value. If the cost is taking place 10 years from now, the present value will be less than if you have to do it today. And a high discount rate implies a low weight of future consumption. And you don't, 2 ice creams tomorrow is like, it has no weight compared with 1 ice cream today. You can also, instead of estimating the present value, annual value if you have an investment and you want to know what is the annual cost of this investment. And you also have to discount that cost today over a number of years. Here's just an example. Skip these 2. This is just to show what effect it can have. Present value of $1,000 received after T years, and T, you have 1 year, 100 year, 2 year. If you use a discount rate of 4%, the present value of $1,000 in 1 year from now is $960. 200 years from now,